Hi guys, so today I have these wonderful tulips to share with you, part of the new 4-petal collection from Spellbinders. So they did send these items free of charge from my review, and of course all opinions are my own. Any links down in the description box will be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission if you purchase items through those links. So thank you for using those when you can. They're just down in the description box under the video title. Really gorgeous. So what it is we have this glimmer plate. It does have a cutting edge if you want to cut the edge, if you want to cut it out, or just put it on as a topper. You can just do the actual glimmering there, the foiling, and we'll talk about those in just a minute. So we have the foil plate there, and then we have the "Have a Wonderful Day" sentiment, which I really love because it's a nice block, and you can put that right onto your card if you'd like. But we also have the die to cut out the lettering, so that's always really nice. So foil plate dies. And then there are stencils that would go along with it. They are sold separately, so I suppose if you want to just have a nice watercolor look, you can definitely just do the stencils and not have the lines that the foiling provides. But as you can see, there are, I believe, 6 stencils. Yes, so these are more related to the flowers, the tulips themselves. These little bits, obviously it's this way. Once you have it done, then you're gonna, when this is foiled, let's say, the image is gonna be that one like this. That's why it looks opposite. But anyhow, so you have those images there, and then a little bit more, and then the fine detail, and then you go into what is more of the stems. So we have stem area here. There is a little extra bit here that I have a feeling has to do with somewhere in the flowers. I'm not sure what, because it's out here. But I want to talk about that because in this next one, you see there's also something out here. You're not just going to do that one stenciling and move away. It looks odd, right? It's just a stencil area that you can mask off and then use that on your card, background or however. So I have a feeling that also has to do with maybe one of these flowers in here somewhere. So you have a little bit there. And then more leaves and the finer detail on the leaves. So stems, leaves, a little bit more on the leaves. So what I'm going to do is start up my glimmer, get that going. I'm going to grab some paper. We will, let me think. Well, we'll see what we're going to do. I might use the edge and then pop it up separately, or just have it there, or, so we can do some of the stenciling from this piece in the background from that. So they kind of have to be 2 different things. Or you can mask it off with this edge, to be honest. Right? If you wanted to use this, and you also want to use, let's say, this background stenciling. So what I would do is glimmer that, get a piece of scratch paper, cut this edge on it, put that piece of scratch paper over this, and then bring in your stencil. And as you stencil, you will stencil missing this area. So that's another thing you can think of doing if you would like to keep it all flat like one piece. But anyway, I'll be right back. Heating up. It doesn't take too long, but I'm going to go ahead and do some stenciling with that background stencil. And that's just a piece of paper I cut about 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. I'm going to take this guy. And I think I might even foil on this. We'll see. The sentiment, So let's say we start here. Now, if you want it to look more organic, obviously you can put it off to the side or something like that. But maybe we start there and then go from there. I'm just going to go for it. So I have this teal ink. I was thinking about putting something behind here to help me out, but I'm just going to keep an eye on it. So I'm going to hold it here and add in some of that beautiful teal ink. And just letting it be really organic and fun, so if it's dark, some areas lighter in others, that's fine. Now, the tulips are going to take up a lot of this area, but I do want to make sure that I'm getting color down everywhere. So once I lift that up, it's pretty easy to just kind of line it up again and do a little more over here. So just line that up. And about there. We'll start up here. Just getting a little bit up in that top corner. Looks pretty good. And then down here, just to finish this off. Oh wow, that lines up super perfectly. Edge to edge, so it has the same amount at the bottom I put at the top. I'm just going to finish cutting it in. Like I said, the tulips kind of come in from this corner. We'll fill out of the space, but there we go. And in this corner I'll have my little tulips, so that's good. Okay, oh, platform is ready, and I need to get my foil going, so I will be right back. Let me get some foil that we will use for our project. Paper that's also, you know, roughly 4 1/8 by 5 1/2, I think this one is, or 5 3/8, because I'm going to cut this away anyway, so I mean you can make it a little bit smaller. I just grab the whole piece so you can kind of see what that would look like. Let's say if we wanted just for that to be our note card or something. So what I like to do always is cut the piece of foil that is literally just the same size, or as close as we can to the same size as what we're foiling. That way we don't take care of too much over foiling or anything like that if that were to happen. So this guy, I'm just gonna eyeball that, and sorry, I'm at a weird angle for the camera. So I'm going to cut this guy straight across and cut it straight across from what I just marked, essentially. And I grabbed a few different colors of foil for the sentiment, because I think I'm going to do that sentiment a few times because I like it. It's a nice sentiment to have several of in your stash. So it's, again, have a wonderful day. I think that's really great. And with this guy, I'm just going to try and line it up here. And I always play with it on the side that shows the color, because on the back side is where the color actually is. So if you scratch it, it's going to get scratched, you know, and that little part will be missing. So I always try to just work with it, line up while it's up here like this. Okay, and since we're going to cut this away, it's not the biggest deal, but I'm just going to pop this here, of course, putting our gold as much as we can. And I've shown in the past how you can just hinge that so you know you're in the right spot. I'm just kind of eyeballing it at this point. And I will tape it. And when we place this on our glimmer, let me see where we're at. Not too bad. Okay, when we place this on our glimmer, you want to make sure that the metal plate is touching the surface, and I say that every time because I have done that and I forget, and then I'm like, oh no. So, and I like to center things too, as much as you can get in the center. I think that's the best place for your heating up. And press timer, and I like to put my plates on here right now. Some people don't like that because it might shift on you, so cover it, don't cover it, that's up to you. To me, that's a personal preference. And once this stops flashing, I know I can run it through my machine. So I'll have my machine ready and I'll be right back. In the meantime, I'm going to prepare foiling for the sentiment. So just different colors of foil. And I probably will foil it right onto this also, just to see how that looks, and I'll be right back. It's gone solid. I'll pull this out carefully. And I'll keep that on there. And I will roll this through. I give it kind of a slow roll so it really presses it on everything, and sometimes I'll even roll it back just to really get an extra impression of that. And let's put this guy in here. Actually, that was so fast I didn't even have a chance to cut the foil for the next thing like I had mentioned. Okay, this is a big hot plate. So let's see what we got. Oh, that gold foil is just, I mean, you guys, super gorgeous. And look at this pristine piece that we can then use a plate to also get that image onto a card or whatever else. If you want just the whole thing, you can always put it on a piece of paper and shim it with a bunch of pieces of paper, or maybe the plastic shims that Spellbinders has now. And it'll foil this whole thing onto a piece of paper, and then you can die cut that or however you want to use it. But I always keep it in a little box I have here for my extra foils. Okay, ooh, sentiment. Okay, I'll be right back. Let me move this guy out of the way. I brought out, like I said, different colors, but I think I'll go ahead and just leave it gold so it matches, you know, this. I was thinking about the tangerine one, but I know tangerine sometimes a little trickier to work with. It's more of a drier foil, and if you do any work with foil, you might understand what I mean but when I say it's like a drier foil. But let's pretend that's going to be there. Let me see where this reaches. I'm assuming that very edge is about the same. So maybe like up in here. Or we can tuck it in here. Yeah, maybe there. Okay. And hopefully I was paying attention and I put this correctly as far as the wording. Yes, have a wonderful day. And we'll take this little guy, and this is the hinge method I was talking about. So you kind of just pop it up a little bit and then just hinge that back down, making sure the foil is there. And I always like to tape. You don't have to put too much tape, but I just like the security of that. So I'm gonna put a little more tape here, and I'm gonna bring this over. And after this, I'll just do a whole bunch of them in different colors just so I have them ready for other projects. So we'll place that guy there. Again, press timer. And as I said, I like to put these guys on here. And I'll run that through. Okay, I'll be back. Here, so we have this guy that we're going to stencil with a just gold, you know, very shiny classic gold, and I went ahead and did the wording in the same gold. Came out perfectly. If you do have any overfoiling, I always say just take an eraser. People ask me what eraser is this? It's just an eraser, guys. I mean, you can use any old pencil eraser. This one happens to be one I picked up at Daiso. I don't know, but it's very flat and I like that. And you just take it and erase your overfoiling, because again, the foil plates are like letterpress plates where they push in, so even if you do this, you're not going to get into where it's indented, right where the wording is. So there you go. I don't have any here. And then I just did a few extras. This is Aura. Look how gorgeous Aura is. I don't know if you can see that. This is just red. This one is, I think they call it polished brass, or maybe, yeah, I guess I could look at the info there. And then, tangerine. That's what I'm telling you. I don't know. What I'm trying to explain to you about foils are like this. Like, when it looks kind of dry, you see it's not as shiny as like this gold. These guys, always amazing. Whenever it's something that's a little drier looking, a little matte looking, like this one or tangerine, I always have a few issues. What I would recommend is leaving them a little bit longer, even though the timer goes off, you know, that stays still. I went ahead and ran it through, and I probably should have waited a few more seconds because I think that would make the difference. So it looks good, just to have a part of it didn't quite make it. I don't know, you can see there. So again, just probably a few more seconds. It's just that, I don't know how to explain it. I just call it dryness, but there it is. Okay. So let's move on. Oh, and then this one, since it was so pretty, what I did was I just cut it really nice and straight. So I'll just take one of my plates from Spellbinders, like those oval, I think I have the oval and circle, and just, you know, put it on a piece of paper, just like you would here. Put that plate over it so it pushes in onto it, and do the whole glimmer thing like we normally do. And then you're gonna have this whole Aura background with the white showing through the wording, or put it on black paper or whatever color paper you want. So I thought that was cute. Okay guys, so let's check these guys out. I did bring out some different yellows, like yellow and oranges for my tulips, but I have not spent a lot of time seeing what colors what, you know what I'm saying? So like if I bring this here and I line it up, it looks like it's kind of in here, so kind of at the tips of those guys, and then this one is going to be the under portion of that, like where it was lighter. So I think this might be darker and then darkest. Okay, sounds good. So I'll go with the lighter yellow into the darker and darker. And let me grab something to do that with. And I'm just eyeballing it. It does have little registration marks. If you want to have a piece of paper that was big enough so you can color that and know that those are there, you can definitely use them. I'm just eyeballing how it looks with the glimmer itself. So I'm going to start with like this little yellow. Pop that in there, just kind of in a fun way. I'm not going too crazy with it, just a little something. In here. So I have a candle burning that has a natural wood wick, and it's so interesting because it sounds like a crackling fire the whole time, but it always catches my attention. So right now I hear it and I'm like, what's that? Oh, that's right, it's that candle. We'll rinse that off in just a minute. And then I'm gonna go into just a little deeper orange or yellow. I hope that one looks funky. All right, let's put this here. Oh, no, not that one. Number 2. They do have numbers. So the other one's the number 1. This one says number 2, and then 3, 4, 5, and 6, and they go along like that. I mean, you could use the other one, then come back with this one, but it's just kind of nice to go in order. So again, I am eyeballing this, but you could definitely use the registration marks to help you out. And that needs to be a little more that way on that one. That looks about right. Hold on. Okay, a little deeper. And I'll push this one a little bit harder than before, just to make sure we're getting that color in there. There are some smaller spots, so I just want to make sure that I'm getting into those areas. Okay, so this one has a little flap that kind of wants to move, so I am going to maybe just go in one direction on that one instead of going around and around like I normally do, because then it'll move that plastic bit that's just kind of floating there. So I'm just being a little more careful on that one. Oh, that's so pretty and subtle. Hope you can see that. Love it. Okay, and then this is the darkest one. And I'm eyeballing this in front of the camera over there, so hopefully I'm getting this right. That one laid down perfectly, I think, where it is. And then let's go with like an orangey color. Very small little areas of this. And then we'll go into the green, so I'll take a pause to pick out some greens to do that with. This is so pretty. Look at those. Oh my gosh. Those are absolutely gorgeous. Oh my goodness. Wow. I'm going to take a moment to rinse off those stencils and then grab some greens, and I'll be right back. I chose some greens, and this is actually number 7, so it just kind of jumped ahead in line there. So this is 5, 6, 7. So when I showed it to you earlier, this one was on top. But if we go with number 5, and I'm assuming they're going to do the same thing where it's like a little bit lighter to darker, because why wouldn't they? So let's see here, and again I'm just looking at the gold lines of the glimmering, and that's where I'm going to do this. This one I'll be a little more careful. You know, I might even tape it down just to help me out, because we have that corner over here, and maybe you might want to put something on there to help you mask it, just in case. Let's see, if we had the light green and then a little bit darker and darker. Yeah, so if they're going the same way, I would say let's start with some light green and then get darker and darker as we go along the 3 stencils. So in here, I'm just kind of bringing it down here and staying away from that area. And right down in here. Just keeping that relatively light. Okay. Oh my gosh, so pretty. I'm such a sucker for layering stencils. They just work so well and they're just gorgeous. Okay, so then we have 6, and number 6 is a little more delicate here. It's like in that space there, and just coming right down into here, it looks like. A little bit higher up, there we go. And again, I'm completely eyeballing this. You could always use your registration marks. I don't really need to hold this one down, but I retaped it, so there we go. And then the next brighter green, or darker green. There's some kind of sneaking in here and there. So pretty. And again, just a little more detail there. Look at that. Gorgeous. And then our last one, which again has this little bit over here. I mean, it might be something that needs to be added here or there, but I would say it kind of looks like what's going on here. Yeah, possibly, but I don't need it. So I'm going to go with this guy, and this is doing the stems. So as you can see, the stems are pretty much empty right now. So let's bring that in there. And that's looking pretty good right there. Okay, dark green. And I'm just holding it for these little areas. Wait, is it dark green? I think that's good for that. Oh my gosh, you guys. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna rinse those off and I'll be right back. I mean, absolutely gorgeous. I would just, if you want to leave it like that, I think that would be really nice. Again, with your sentiment there, or have your sentiment cut out like we did here, and then maybe use the dies to cut that out and then pop that up. I mean, it just looks really lovely on its own. But I did say we would die cut it and pop it up, so let's go ahead and do that. What I'm gonna do is cut this little back piece off though, since I kind of started it off with a little bit over to the left or however. So I'm just gonna trim that little bit off. So we're right at the edge, and a little bit off the bottom too, possibly. Just to kind of perfect cut before I die cut it. I mean, look how beautiful. Oh my gosh, cannot get over it. And I have been having so much fun with my glimmer these last few weeks here. So what I'm gonna do is put this guy on here, and you know, do you want to bring it out just a little bit? You have a white border, you can bring it a little bit closer. I think that's definitely up to you. You know, the design has some give there. I'll leave a little bit of a white border. And these two are stuck together. As I always say with these guys, try not to put the tape on the actual foiling so that it doesn't pick it up when you go to die cut it. So I'll run this through and I'll be right back. So this design is on the smaller side, so you can definitely run it through a smaller die cutting machine. I mean, basically you need like 3.5 inches width, you know, and then the length, of course. Okay, so again, I would just kind of tape those carefully and run them through, and you have all these sentiments, and I cut myself several so I would have them for other uses at other times. So I have those. And let's bring this back over. Gotta put away my little foils. Oh, this is gonna be beautiful. Love these colors. Some glue. And this card is a little bit not exactly straight. Let me trim this off just so I can get that. It's a little bit off for some reason. I'll be right back. So let's get this going. Loving that teal. I know it's gonna look really great with that yellow and oranges. Really, really pretty. We have our sentiment on there, so we're good to go. But you know what? I was gonna trim this down and I didn't. Let me cut this little piece off because, like I said, it was 5.5. I meant for it to be 5 3/8. I'll be right back. Cut. Yeah, that's much better. I was like, well, that's top to bottom, and then the other one is a little bit smaller on the sides. And I will definitely have to clean my guillotine after that because now there's glue in there. But look how pretty that is. I am loving it already. Oh, let's see the pièce de résistance. I mean, okay, that is beautiful. My goodness, that looks lovely. Just honestly, if I glued it down, or if you want to cut more pieces of paper and just to give it that elevation, I think that looks really nice because it still has like a little texture there because of that, right? Or you can just definitely pop it up. I don't know. I think I'm going to glue it down straight, guys. Why not? I know my impetus is to pop it up, but you know what? I like the way that looks with that little bit of texture. And I'm just lining up the bottom corner of the matte layer, not the card layer. Oh my goodness, that is gorgeous. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Thank you so much, Spellbinders, for sending the items for review. I have no words. I love the colors. I love the image there. I mean, it's just super gorgeous. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll have the images coming up. I'll have the links in the description box, and I'll see you all at the next one. Bye now.